these two vectors are multiplied is scalar product, and another idea to multiply them is vector product. But in this level, we'll solely focus on this scalar product rather than this vector product. Means vector product is studied in senior classes, right? Like 11, 12. Here in this level, we'll just put light on scalar product. Scalar product is also called dot product. Keep in mind, please. Scalar product is also called dot product. Okay. Here is written the same, scalar product of vectors. It also called, I said, dot product of vectors. Why it is called dot product? Let me show you. Because there is put. Look, if this is one of the vectors and this is another vector, say B vector, and if there is present dot, like this, then it is called dot product or scalar product. Scalar product bhaneko dot product bhaneko scalar product. So let me drop this. I think you understood all these things, right? Dot product bhaneko scalar product ho hai. So look at this introduction. Here is one vector given OA vector. You know what does this stand for? Actually, O to A. Vectors have direction from O to A. It means that if there is written like AO vector, then what does it mean? It means vector is pointing from A to O, right? So if you like to write AO in the order of OA, then you must write minus, right? AO vector means minus OA vector. You have been much known to this matter, right? So what I mean to say, just the AB vector katai cha bhane yala BA ko terms ma lekhna man लाग्यो मलाई भने AB vector दिएको छ यला BA को term ma लेख्न मन लाग्यो भने you must put minus sign, then you can change the direction this way, because vector cares about both direction as well as magnitude. In case of vector AB, that arrowhead represents its direction, but if it is written just AB, it means magnitude of vector AB. It represents distance between A and B. Simply. Hey, AB matra bhanyo bhane त्यो length ho. A देखि B सम्मको distance हो. त्यसको magnitude हो. Numerical value like 3 cm, like 4 unit, like 5 unit. तर त्यहाँ माथि arrow हेर्दिने बित्तिकै it's not just magnitude, it's not just 2 cm, 3 cm, right? Rather, it also means this direction, right? From one point to another point, it points. Simply, त्यो कुराहरु बुझ्नु पर्यो. अब यहाँ OB is another vector here. Here in short, now OA vector is simply written like A vector and OB vector is written by B vector. Here in the picture you can see, look at the picture please. Look at the picture. O to A. O to A is represented by A vector, right? And O to B is represented by B vector. Simple. And the angle between A vector and B vector is theta. Angle between A vector and B vector is theta. There's nothing else, right? यहाँ दुईटा भेक्टर दियो अनि त्यो दुईटा भेक्टर बीचमा बनेको एंगललाई थीटा मानेको छ. अब यहाँनिर हेर्ने यहाँ फर्मुला दियो. Scalar product of two vectors is defined as, this is the formula you have to note. Please keep in mind, this is the most important formula that will be in our frequent use. A vector dot B vector is equal to A vector magnitude into B vector magnitude into cosine of angle between them. That theta there represents the angle between them. Theta represents the angle between them. र अझै कसरी बुझ्नु पर्यो भने कुनै पनि दुईवटा भेक्टरको डट प्रोडक्ट भनेको तिनीहरुको म्याग्निट्युडको मल्टिप्लिकेसन इन्टु कोसाइन अफ एंगल बिट्विन देम. है. अब म एउटा कुरा भन्छु, किन यसलाई स्केलर प्रोडक्ट भनियो? Why this is called scalar product? Because this formula yields numerical value that is scalar. Means you will get constant value as soon as you solve this A vector dot B vector. Means when you solve this scalar product, you will find numerical value like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 like that. That indicates scalar value, numerical value with just magnitude, so it is called scalar product. Here is written the same. A vector dot B vector is also scalar, right? So one formula is here to always remember. Please keep in mind, one formula is always here to remember, that is A vector magnitude B vector magnitude into cos theta. A vector dot B vector लाई स्calar प्रोडक्ट भनिन्छ र कुनै पनि दुईवटा भेक्टरको स्calar प्रोडक्टको फर्मुला A vector dot B vector भनेको A भेक्टरको म्याग्निट्युड इन्टु B भेक्टरको म्याग्निट्युड cos थीटा हो। अब यहाँ धेरै कुराहरू आउँछ, जस्तै हामीले क्लास 9 मा पढ्यौ, कुनै पनि भेक्टरको म्याग्निट्युड निकाल्ने फर्मुला के हो? कुनै पनि भेक्टरको म्याग्निट्युड निकाल्ने फर्मुला √x कम्पोनेन्टको स्क्वायर प्लस y कम्पोनेन्टको स्क्वायर हो। त्यो हामीले क्लास 9 मा पढ्यौ। त्यो फर्मुलाबाट हामीले A भेक्टरको म्याग्निट्युड र B भेक्टरको म्याग्निट्युड निकाल्न सक्छौं। अनि थीटा, थीटा भनेको दुईवटा भेक्टर बीचको एंगल हो जुन हामीलाई प्रोवाइड गरिएको हुन्छ अथवा कुनै मेथडबाट निकाल्न सक्ने गरी दिएको हुन्छ है। यति कुरा बुझौं। Let us see the down here. Scalar product of some special types of vectors. See it here, please. Here is written case first, like and parallel vectors. You can see both these vectors are pointing along the same direction, right? This is also pointing up, this is also pointing up, not straight but obliquely, but still they are pointing along the same direction, so they are parallel vectors. Means they two never meet each other at any point in the future, right? They will never meet. That is why they two are called parallel vectors, like vectors. Here look, you can see, look, unlike and parallel vectors means they are pointing in opposite direction. That's why though they never meet each other at any point in the future, their direction is not same. Means they are pointing along the parallel way, or their alignment is same but their direction is not exact same but just opposite. यो दुईटा कहिले भेट्ने वाला छैनन्, जति एक्सटेन्ड गरे पनि यो दुईटा भेट्ने वाला छैनन्, तर their direction is just opposite, right? So it is called unlike and parallel vectors. Coming to case third, you can say, look, A vector is pointing along east direction, right? You can see here A vector is pointing along east direction, whereas B vector is pointing along north direction, and the angle between east and north direction is always 90, so it is 90 degrees. So A vector and B vector are called perpendicular vectors, or you can say orthogonal vectors, another name, alternative used for perpendicular word. In mathematics, perpendicular means orthogonal. Keep in mind, please. I think this word you need to understand. Orthogonal always mean perpendicular vectors. So two vectors are perpendicular if there is the angle 90 degree between them, right? So coming to down, ल अब यहाँ हेरौँ त एकचोटी सबैजनाले, म अलिकति कलर चेन्ज गर्छु एकचोटी हेर्नुस् है त। Formula is A vector magnitude B vector magnitude cos theta, that's all, right? Here is magnitude unknown न, magnitude कति हो थाहा नै छैन, A vector को लेन्थ कति हो अनि B vector को लेन्थ कति हो हामीलाई थाहा छैन, त्यही भएर यहाँ भ्यालु राखिएको छैन। तर एंगल थाहा छ, प्यारलल र डाइरेक्सन सेम भएपछि एंगल 0 हुन्छ। So angle is put here 0, cos 0 means 1, right? Cos 0 means value 1. So A vector dot B vector equal to product of magnitude, their individual magnitude. That is the condition when two lines are parallel. Coming to this second point, look, they are parallel but their direction is just opposite. I mean to say their angle is 180 degree. मैले भनिसके जब एउटा भेक्टर यो डाइरेक्सनमा जान्छ अनि अर्को भेक्टर यसको जस्ट अपोजिट डाइरेक्सनमा आउँछ नि, त्यस्तो केसमा हामीले एंगल 180 डिग्री लिनुपर्छ। So it is written the same 180 degree and cos 180 degree value -1. So result is A vector dot B vector equal to minus multiplication of their magnitude. That's all. Look at the third point. This is the most important. This is the most important condition you should always remember. You cannot forget this, right? You cannot forget this. Here is written angle 90 because two vectors are orthogonal or perpendicular. So angle is put 90 degree here. Cos 90 means 0. So this 0 multiplies to all this yielding 0, right? So A vector dot B vector equal to 0. Whenever two vectors are perpendicular, the scalar product is 0. यो सबैले सम्झिने है। अब यस्तो हुन्छ, क्वेशनमा के सोध्छ भने पहिले नै हामीले एउटा कन्डिसन दिन्छ, A vectors and B vectors are perpendicular, then find the value of k. They will be given some unknown constant in a questions, right? You have to find out. So keep that in mind. Whenever two vectors are perpendicular, their scalar product or dot product is always 0. Okay, coming to scalar product of standard unit vectors. First, you need to know what are standard unit vectors. J are called standard unit vectors. Why unit vectors? Because their magnitude is 1. Unit means 1, right? Why standard? Because I and J are taken always as a reference unit vector that acts along the x and y axis respectively. Look at the graph here. This here O means origin, right? Here is nothing written, but wherever I have marked, this is origin. This is origin. If you go one step right along the x-axis, here is the x-axis. Here is the x-axis, and this is y-axis. Okay, this is y-axis. This point coordinate here is 1, 0. This is 1, 0. And here in J side, this point, right? This is 0, 1, 0, 1. Okay, it means what? I vector points along the x-axis. I vector is along the x-axis. J vector is along the y-axis. And I vector point coordinate 1, 0. J vector point coordinate 0, 1. If you find out its magnitude, you know the formula of magnitude? X component square plus y component square. So what is the x component of I vector? 1. So formula 1 square, right? Plus y component square means 0 square, isn't it? 0 square. The result is 1 plus 0. Answer is 1, of course, right? Look at this. The magnitude of I vector. Magnitude is always written like this. I vector, you write I vector, then you modulus it just. Right? This is how we show magnitude of vector. Modulusly cover garनुपर्छ magnitude show गर्नलाई. Or there is another way to simply write magnitude. If you just write I without giving arrowhead, it also means magnitude. Here magnitude of unit vector I is 1. Magnitude of unit vector I is 1. Similarly, magnitude of unit vector J is also 1. Magnitude of unit vector J is also 1. And their coordinate I already said you 1, 0 and 0, 1. Keep in mind, please. I vector always act towards the x-axis and J vector always act towards the y-axis. And look, the angle between I and J means angle between x-axis and y-axis is always 90 degree. The angle between them is always 90 degree. And I already said you, whenever there is 90 degree angle between two vectors, their dot product is 0. So here look, I and J are two vectors, right? And their angle between them is 90 degrees. So their dot product, their dot product I vector dot J vector must be 0. Must be 0. Please find it out. Because angle between I and J is 90 degree, the dot product of them results 0 value. Here is written the same. You can see, look, I vector dot J vector equal to formula. First formula is put here. I vector magnitude, J vector magnitude cos theta, but angle between them is 90, so 90 is put here, resulting 0 value. Why here is written 1? Because magnitude of unit vector is 1, na? Magnitude of unit J vector is also 1, so 1, 1 put. And cos 90 means 0, resulting 0 answer. So another thing you need to understand here is, look, I vector dot J vector 0, J vector dot I vector also 0, because angle between J and I also mean 90 degree, no? So it also results 0. But here is, look, here is something else. What is this? The dot product of similar vector is 1. I dot I 1, J dot J 1. How is that possible? Dissimilar unit vectors को product चाहिँ 0 हुन्छ. जस्तै I dot J 0, J dot I 0 हुन्छ. Now Vivek, would you please remind me the reason for this? Why the product of two dissimilar unit vector is 0?
Because their angle 90 degree formed.
Exactly, because there is formed angle 90 degree between two vectors, right? Two standard vectors, but we are not sure with other types of vector. angle between them is 90 degree only if they are standard unit vector. If they are other normal vector like a and b, we are not sure whether their angle between them is 90 degree or not. अरु भेक्टर हो भने हामी स्योर हुन सक्दैनौं है, तर स्ट्यान्डर्ड युनिट भेक्टर हो भने i जहिले पनि x एक्सिस तिर लाग्छ, j भनेको y एक्सिस तिर पोइन्ट गर्ने भेक्टर हो। यस्तो केसमा चाहिँ एंगल 90 डिग्री हुन्छ। तर सिमिलर भेक्टर बीचमा फेरि एंगल 0 हुन्छ है। सिमिलर भेक्टर जस्तै i को i सँगकै i भेक्टर भनेको पनि म्याग्निट्युड 1 भएको युनिट भेक्टर हो जुन x एक्सिस तिर एक्ट गर्छ, j भनेको पनि म्याग्निट्युड 1 भएको युनिट भेक्टर हो जुन y एक्सिस तिर एक्ट गर्छ। तर i र i त दुवै x एक्सिस तिर एक्ट गर्ने भए एंगल कति भयो, अफ कोर्स 0 भयो है। त्यही भएर कन्डिसन अनुसार हामीले प्रब्लम्सहरुलाई चिन्ह फाइन्ड आउट गर्न जान्नुपर्छ है। यसमा अब यसमा केही कन्फ्युजन छ भने मलाई सोध्न सकिन्छ है, केही कन्फ्युजन छ भने मलाई सोध्न सकिन्छ। आई थिंक there's nothing much problematic condition or concept here of unit vector, right? I को कोअर्डिनेट पनि बुझ्नुभयो 1 0, j को कोअर्डिनेट पनि बुझ्नुभयो 0 1, i र j को मल्टिप्लिकेसन 0 हुन्छ, स्केलर मल्टिप्लिकेसन 0 हुन्छ। तर i को i भेक्टर सँगकै स्केलर मल्टिप्लिकेसन 1 हुन्छ, j को j भेक्टर सँगकै स्केलर मल्टिप्लिकेसन 1 हुन्छ। i को म्याग्निट्युड 1 हो, j को म्याग्निट्युड पनि 1 हो है। तर अरु दियो, जस्तै म एउटा एक्जाम्पल लिन्छु, ठ्याक्क बुझिहाल्नु चाहिँ हेर्नुस् है। ल कसैले a भेक्टर भनेर दियो, a भेक्टर को म्याग्निट्युड कति भन्यो भने हामीले त i भेक्टर सम्झिएर i भेक्टर को म्याग्निट्युड 1 हुन्थ्यो, यो a भेक्टर को पनि म्याग्निट्युड 1 नै होला भन्ने सोचेर 1 लेख्छौं भने हामी गलत हुन्छौं, right? a vector means what? We are not certain on this, right? A vector may have point coordinate like 5 6, it may have point coordinate similar to I like 1 0, right? It may also have point coordinate like 10 0. So we are not sure whether the magnitude of a vector be 1 or not. अरु भेक्टर को कुरा गर्ने नै होइन है, जस्ट सम्झिने i र j भनेको युनिट भेक्टर्स हुन्, त्यही भएर तिनीहरुको म्याग्निट्युड हामी सिधै 1 प्रयोग गर्न पाउँछौं। तर अरु भेक्टरमा पाइदैन। म धेरै स्टुडेन्टहरु झुक्किने गरेको देखेको छु। एक्जाममा कहिलेकाहीँ यस्तो भनिदिन्छ, यहाँ सुन्नुस् त, यस्तो भनिदियो ल, a vector is unit vector भनिदियो, a vector is unit vector भनिदियो। Now Ritika, you answer me, okay? Ritika, are you ready? You tell me, if a vector is unit vector, then are you sure it does have point coordinate similar to I, that is 1 0? Loudly, little loudly please.
Yes.
Yes, surely it will have 1 0 coordinate, right?
Yeah.
Aradhana, you support her? Do you support her, Aradhana? Yes. Who is here to not support her? I want a reason also, you know, in that case. Magnitude 1 हुने condition भनेको point coordinate सधैं 1 0 नै हुनुपर्छ र हामी स्योर छैनौं नि। 1 0 भयो भने मात्र magnitude 1 आउँछ भन्ने ग्यारेन्टी छैन। अरु point coordinate भयो भने पनि त magnitude 1 आउला नि त। त्यही भएर कुनै भेक्टरलाई युनिट भेक्टर भनेर दियो भने त्यसको point coordinate i को जस्तै 1 0 नै हुन्छ भन्ने छैन। अरु पनि हुन सक्छ, एकदम अरु पनि हुन सक्छ है, ख्याल गर्ने। त्यही भएर म के भन्छु भने यसलाई युनिट भेक्टर दियो भनेर आँखा चिम्लिएर 1 0 लेख्न पाइदैन। यसको point coordinate लाई युनिट भेक्टर भनेर तोकेर दियो भने बरु के चाहिँ गर्न पाइन्छ भने a vector magnitude is equal to 1 लेख्न चाहिँ पाइन्छ फेरि। तर यसको point coordinate 1 0 लेख्न चाहिँ पाइदैन है, यो चाहिँ ख्याल गर्ने। ठीक छ ल। अब फ्र्याक्सनमा यसको कोअर्डिनेटहरु लियो भने 1 आउने सिचुएसनहरु रहन्छ है। ल अब यसमा के कन्फ्युजनहरु छ भने मलाई सोध्नुस्। अब म नत्र अगाडि स्टेपमा लाग्छु है त, हामीसँग टाइम एकदमै थोरै बचेको छ। म अलिकति अगाडि लाग्छु, सोध्ने भए मलाई सोधिहाल्नुस् है। र हेर्नुस् यहाँ के आयो, प्रोपर्टिज अफ स्केलर प्रोडक्ट। स्केलर प्रोडक्टमा के हुन्छ भने a vector dot b vector भनेको b vector dot a vector यसले कम्युटेटिभ प्रपर्टीलाई फलो गर्छ सपोर्ट गर्छ कम्युटेटिभ प्रपर्टीसँग अग्री गर्छ राइट आई मीन टु से if you find a vector dot b vector or you find b vector dot a vector both mean same you don't need to worry I vector dot j vector also mean j vector dot I vector both values equal right so next point look a vector dot bracketed terms here b vector plus c vector also mean a vector dot b vector plus a vector dot c vector means it follows distributive property as well भनेको यसलाई सिम्पली हामीले नर्मल मल्टिप्लाई गरे जस्तो गर्न पाइन्छ पहिला पहिला हामीले के गर्थ्यौ जस्तै पहिला पहिला हामीले x बाहिर छ भित्र m plus n छ भने हामी के गर्थ्यौ मल्टिप्लाई गर्दाखेरि फर्स्ट x is multiplied with m then x is multiplied with n right xm plus xn we do that isn't it similar things can be done here in vectors product also means scalar product what I mean to say in a simple algebraic way you can multiply vectors with other terms here in case of dot product okay a vector dot b vector you cannot leave that dot la chhodna paidena a vector is first dotted with b then it is dotted with c this case so coming to here point number c whenever dot product of any two vector is 0 then angle between them must be 90 degree these two vectors must be perpendicular this we have focused much right d number point c if a vector dot b vector equal to ab let me rub this first okay now fine if a vector dot b vector equal to ab it means a and b are parallel when angle between them is 0 degree in that situation only their dot product is equal to product of their magnitude if product of their magnitude is -1 in the same case then they are unlike but parallel we already studied these things and look this is another important things to understand this is another important thing ekdam dhyan dinu parne kura a vector dot a vector look at here please a vector dot a vector means dot product of two similar vectors दुईटा same type of vectors को dot product लिन्छौं भने हामी यसलाई स्क्वायर गर्न मिल्छ a vector square and I already taught you before if there is a square in certain vector then that arrow can be released out means you can simply write a square it turns to a square of magnitude है कुनै पनि भेक्टरको यस्तो स्क्वायर आयो भने त्यो डाइरेक्सनलाई हामी आउट गर्दिन सक्छौं है अब त्यसको भ्यालु रहँदैन यहाँ पनि त्यही लेखेको छ a vector dot a vector means a square b vector dot b vector means b square I think you haven't seen here arrow let me show you arrow see here okay look now it's all a vector dot a vector means a square b vector dot b vector means b square